against IPT has made it so that Fear and Hatred can control this lane to go the way they want it to. And with that, Lucian has been stuck farming, and Jinx is happy with that. Against a Lucian-Leona lane, they're more than happy to just farm it out against them, because Jinx will end up scaling better, and to risk not being jumped on by Lucian and Leona is a really good thing. But Hero here, he's going to have to pop down that wall of shame.
Wall of shame? What a way to call it.
It's quite shameful. It's like it's the wall of shame, you know, when you walk through the wall of pain, you get so slow, it's just, oh goodness, how do I get over here now?
Well, at least for this bottom lane, I think now that you brought a very interesting perspective to the game, that Jinx can control waves very well, because you have that option to use that pow to go for single target, and if the wave gets pushed up, then you can use that fishbones to clear out the wave. So
it's not just the power of Jinx to control this Wii, to control the waves. It's also the synergy between Fear and Hate that have allowed them to do so. Prize has gone all Dragon Form Hero, and he says, nope, no.
But Hero is low on mana at this point in time. Westar goes in for some action.
But here comes Vanguard jumping in onto Westar. Will not hit it thanks to the playful Trickster. A little bit close there, but here comes Fear. He gets jumped in under the tower. Fear takes a lot of damage. Good stun coming out from Hatred. Green Tea is still going ham onto Fear right now. May have another Xenoblade too. The zap will come and actually hit Lucian in the face, but Fear tanking a few tower shots there. That cost him a little bit. Now Hero might get dived there. Wall of Shame has been put down. He gets jumped up by Naz. Flashes over to the other side of the tower. Tanks one tower hit. Another one will get taken by Naz. Will not be able to pick it up. But here goes the ultimate. Green Tea, Garnet Devil though, actually get taken down really low in this bottom lane. Hatred takes it down, and he's trying to pick up this kill. One more auto attack into the kill. No, the W will be enough. Rebecca's gonna jump back in. Not Rebecca, Green Tea's gonna jump back in onto Fear. Fear now running for his life. The shield will pop all over the place and explode into the face of Jinx, who will get taken down. The supports, these are the carries of the game. Now Westar in a lot of trouble as well. Look at that, 80 carries don't matter anymore. So supports just kill everyone. As Doa would say, bloodthirsty supports all the way.
So we start to see the effect of this Karthus in the top lane. Not only for the fact that he has the teleport, which he just used to get back into the top lane, but just because of the fact that you can use that Raccoon to apply that global presence, as we saw in the bottom lane. Hatred picking up the kill onto Garnet Devil, even despite the fact that he popped that barrier as well, and like might go in aggressive against Westar, but it just look like that Slippery Fish is gonna go away and get behind the safety of Pantheon Shield.
So Karthus' top lane was actually first made incredibly famous by GG while he was still playing. Okay, may he rest in peace with his Neely Spear.
Oh!
But it was made famous just because back in Season 3,
okay,
whereby 2v1 swaps of the top lane were so common, they used to pick Karthus into teams that love to use the 2v1 swap, or pick Karthus to do a 2v1 swap themselves, just because they know at level 3 they are going to get dived. And if Karthus gets dived, unlike Zac and Aatrox, who if they get dived, they'll still come back to life, will be able to defend themselves under the tower. If Karthus gets dived, he has two options. He can probably take down the guy that is taking damage from the turret, or he can clear the minion wave before he heads back to the fountain during his passive. And what this allows him to do is soak up experience and gold, which other top laners that get dived would not be able to. Now it's interesting though, using Karthus in a one-on-one up in the top lane against these really tanky champions. If I do believe if Prize was playing a Renekton or someone with a better gap closer than Shyvana, Karthus would have a really hard time up there. But just because Shyvana's only gap closer is her ultimate, it's a bit easier for Karthus to sustain in the top lane. But Pantheon is once again going to close in onto Karthus.
I think it's a great opportunity as well, because Hero doesn't have to flash back up as
taking a lot of damage, but instead Pantheon's not going to go to top lane, he's going to go in the mid lane. Here comes the man drop into Bear, and he actually, Nat's going to get turned around here. Here's the solar flare. Green Tea going to miss. But here goes the Super Mega Death Rocket straight to the face of the man with the sandals. Lucy's going to try and turn this one around. Price might actually drag in the set, will not decide to do so, but good Super Mega Death Rocket and a good turnaround. After the man drop, Naz jumped into that fight, immediately knew he's made a bad decision, jumped onto a chomper, and the entire team of IPT just turned around onto that Pantheon.
So that's the problem when you want to go for this Pantheon global initiates as well, because of the fact, like what we saw just now, you know, you want to go in when you have that lockdown ready, but in that sense, IPT was just ready to kind of expand on that, and they managed to pick up the kill on Naz, so he has to be very careful on where to choose those initiates going into those team fights. And well, for IPT, they pick up the kill and they pick up the inhibitor at the same time, and Westor looks like he's going to be in trouble. Will use that playful trickster to get away.
I feel like IPT here, not IPT, sorry, AHQ should have conceded that mid lane tower, or the kill they would have given up without the man drop, just because we saw the top lane's Hatred actually spots out Garnet Devil, going to chase him down for a little bit, decides it's not worth chasing this guy, but now Pride's chasing down, once again, just, you know, yeah, chase people for no reason, but I felt like Naz should have actually gone for the gank at top lane with Pride, because Pride's already got Hero down to half health. And Hero right now is just going to keep farming this top lane. AHQ will be able to pick up this dragon, but Carlos may be able to push this top lane really hard and eventually take that one down. But if they went for the dive onto Karthus, Naz wouldn't have got killed. It would have picked up another kill and set Karthus back further behind. We've talked about this before in the Legend Circuit Finals, where we've seen Insidious Gaming pull out a Karthus top many times to fit a team comp that they are very popular for. And it works two ways. If you don't shut down Karthus early, he's going to ramp up no matter what. You can already see he's even in terms of minion score to Shyvana.
Yep.
Even if you shut him down early, though, which is what you're meant to do, he is still going to ramp up later on. It just will take him even longer time and give your team more time to make the plays they need to get to make shutting down Karthus worthwhile. They haven't shut down Karthus, so he's going to ramp up earlier on than expected, unless Pantheon can get to the top lane.
And I absolutely agree with that. He needs to make his way up to the top lane now. But for that, as a matter of fact, Hero, he has that flash back up for himself already. And I think IPT now, they should be looking to somewhat expand on their map presence, just because they got that early mid lane turret. So they kind of need to ward in AHQ Esports Club's jungle here and to try to maintain control of that area. And now Pride's meet up with Hero in the raid camp. Goes for the dragon this
flash,
time.
but Pride's going to flash along with him. Wall of Shame has been put down, and Pride has to make the shameful walk back to his tower.
Oh,
Green
look out.
now going to jump in on Hatred. There goes the Silver Red. Nice flash coming in from Hatred to dodge one.
Ooh.
Zap actually misses Green Tree off of the chompers. Here comes the Pantheon. Super Mega Death Rocket for the kill. Pantheon's going to jump in the fight. And once again, Naz just jumps in to say hi and runs away. Zap will hit. We'll get the stun down. They're going to double. He's in a lot of trouble. Here comes the Requiem. Ray for the double kill coming in from Karthus.
Laser of death.
There
Hallelujah.
goes the lasers of death coming in from Hero up in the top lane. Actually teleports down. We'll be able to pick up this tower as well. And what a fantastic turnaround from IPT. And here we were thinking AHQ needed to dictate the lanes early on, but IPT have been rotating fantastically.
And not only that, you know, Ness once again making that error to jump into the fray without the support of his teammates. And thus look like IPT will be going for this push onto the second tier turret as well. So they will take it down and secure this wonderful goal lead just to start things off 13 minutes. It's 1.7k goal lead for them for this one, and they will take away the blue buff as well. So in that sense, a fantastic start for the Imperium Pro Team.
Imperium Pro Team here. Now this is why they are feared for being an unorthodox team. They pull out these unorthodox team comps and unorthodox strategies. Naz, however, I feel he's been really underperforming this entire game.
Yeah.
Both man drops that he has used so far have just been for him to show his presence, show that he's coming down to that lane, and immediately wants to run out of there. And both times he has died because of it.
Yeah, that's the biggest weakness for this Pantheon in the jungle. Sure, you have a lot of damage and you're able to move around very quickly with the Grand Skyfall, but if you want to go for those damage builds, then you need to be very careful of how you time it. Because if you just drop into the enemy fray without the support of your teammates, then you're just going to be free goal jumping in from the sky. And, you know, IPT will be happy to pick that up for themselves, as we have seen in the past 2 times, just like you mentioned.
Here comes Katarina, a little bit of trouble. We're going to see the dragon descend. Katarina, you're on the wrong side of the map there, but where is the camera going? Katarina is running away as Light's going to try and run into the base of AHQ. AHQ are going to try and chase her down. They just decide, she's dead. Actually, no, Westro's going to try and pop the fire. No, pops the ignite. That's all he really needs.
Goodbye.
Bye, Light.
Goodbye.
You've seen the light.
You have seen the light. But meanwhile, in the top lane, Fear would actually take out the top lane turret.
Once again, just hard seeking strikes to the face, but that's not going to be enough. He's going to take the Super Mega Death Rocket to the face, and Fear's once again going to pick up another kill. I have a question for you.
Yes.
If Pantheon's E is called Hard Seeker Strike, does it do more damage to Vayne and Ashe when they use their skins?
I believe it might be the other way around, in fact, because they are the ones seeking the heart, so I think they will have some immunity to Pantheon's heart seeking for themselves.
What is our camera guy doing?
Oh, there we go. We are back into the game. Rubenga now taking the red buff for themselves. And I have to say, they have some great showing for themselves for Imperium Pro Team. They should be able to take advantage for that. And I think that they really need to step up the aggression and, you know, pick up more kills for themselves, get more objective control, and in that sense they should be able to transit into the mid game very comfortably. And the good thing for them as well is that they have that late game insurance from Hero. He is now 2-1-1, has that needlessly large rod, and that Rod of Ages that will be stacking up as the game progresses. It's a fantastic start for them. You know, looking for their first victory here tonight on the Garena Premier League spring season.
Do you know what's scarier than a Fed Karthus?
What is scarier than a Fed Karthus?
Fed Karthus with Mikhail on his team, especially the changes to the Divine Intervention that Mikhail has. Doesn't need mana to cast that. So we're going to have a Karthus that will be invulnerable for about 3 seconds. And
just
then he will die,
with the
and he'll still be invulnerable for 6 seconds, so
yeah,
it's about that's 10 seconds worth of Karthus that AHQ have to endure.
So
even 1 second is more than enough.
So it's really deadly when you see the Grim Reaper teaming up with the Angel. And this look like this time Rubenga is not going to be the Angel that AHQ wanted to be spotted out here. He's going to be the Angel of Death.
They're gonna have to run and fish for this. They need the sharks. They need the pull from the sharks. Naz has upgraded his sandals to a little bit of brown boots, so he's already picked up a Negatron cloak. So he's gonna be able to resist some of this heavy matching that IPT put up. But if IPT made this rotation a little bit sooner, they would have been able to catch him now. The Zap will just miss. Hatred does get the blessings to speed up. They're actually going to jump in onto Shyvana. Wall of Shame will stop her and slow her down, but we'll just drag the descent over that wall. That is an ultimate down, though. IPT should be able to pick up this dragon with ease.
I love the movement coming from there, but meanwhile, Solar Flare is going to come down.
Tibbers? Will we see Tibbers? We will not see Tibbers.
Tibbers not going to make up.
Run away from this one.
Yeah, looks like IPT will be happy with the dragon. They will pick that up themselves. And I have to say, I love the movement coming in from there. They had that pink ward in the tri-brush. They camped patiently, but I thought that the movements from there, from the 3-man squad from IPT was just a little bit
will hit minions!
Preemptive. Yes, and the calling hits the minions to clear out the waves. So
sorry, it had to be said.
It has to be said, man. The moonwalk from Lucian.
Moonwalk from Lucian.
Yeah, man. It's all very important.
That's not how you do the moonwalk. To do the moonwalk on Lucian, you have to use the culling, in the opposite direction and walk towards your
Yes, I have had first-hand experience.
Here goes Teju with a flash timber straight onto Lucian though. Super Mega Death Rocket will miss though. Divine Intervention will be used on Rebecca himself. IPT actually looked deadly in this fight. Cartus is popping down the Skittles everywhere to get everyone on. AHQ must come really low. Prize gonna drag this in to everybody on IPT. Cartus will flash out of there. Prize will actually flash out of there as well. Lucian will pick up the kill with a piercing light. Fear will dodge that Zenith blade coming out from Green Tea there. And IPT will live by. Here comes the man drop. Will not be able to hit anyone. Wall of Shame will just let him walk away once again. Jinx now in a little bit of trouble. She wants him to join her and come and play, but doesn't look so good for her. AHQ are pincering onto this mad Jinx. Zenith blade should be able to hit. Will not actually hit. Here comes that. Solar Flare will pick it up. Shut down to Lucian.
So he's gonna moonwalk out of there alive and
red laser! Red lasers! Naz is gone! Green Tea and Guardian Devil almost taken down as well.
Wow, looks like that needlessly Latroy, needless amount of AP on his end was able to drop.
He's teleported.
Look out!
Where is he going? He's pulling a Phantom Lord right now. This is the Phantom Lord play. The Skittle will miss. Will he get it? He'll stop the teleport. Light's gonna be able to pick up this kill. He will jump on the Green Tea and clean up. Hero is the hero of IPT right now.
He is the hero that IPT needs. And 9-6, they did lose that little skirmish in the middle. And as we go into replay to see what happens exactly in that fight.
So we're going to see what happens in this fight. We will see the flash initiation coming out from Hatred with that Timber Stun under tower. Lucian will get locked down. Super Mega Death Rocket will miss. Now's the time for HQ to turn around. Light will be the first target for HQ Esports Club because he's in the middle of the team. Hero will be the next target as Pride's in the middle of the team. Will drag the descent and then flash out to save his own life. Westar will go and get taken down immediately. Green Tea will miss this Zenith blade onto Fear, which he flashes away from, will allow him to live long. And this will be crucial later on. Mandrop will miss Hero. He puts down the Wall of Shame. Naz will go absolutely nowhere. Now they chase onto Jinx, and that is where the incredible Lasers of Doom into Teleport will take place.
And I feel like for the most part, I think it was just that little bit impatient to try to lay down the hurt and the range and the turret. And I have to say, great flanking maneuver from Westar, as well as Price as well. They were just waiting around from the left and the right side, and then they were able to catch the backlines before IPT was kind of able to respond to that. And they have to remember for a fact, they have a lot of damage on their own end, but they cannot just dive under the turret because they have no tanky front liners. So in that sense, they have to choose their fights very carefully. And I kind of felt that if Hero was the one leading the charge and being the hero that he is, if he died earlier on, he should be able to create this zone, this impenetrable zone that HQ don't want to walk across from, just because that default is back up, and he had that red laser of death that wrecked him up as well. So in that sense, IPT having a slight dubious, questionable decision, but then again, they are still up in terms of goal. Having that turret advantage as well, they are 4-2 in terms of turret. They still have that map control. They just need to pick their fights carefully. Dragon is going to be back up in the next 2 minutes, and that's going to be I would say a huge point in this game here. That's going to determine quite a fair bit.
Despite IPT making that crazy play with the Requiem into teleport, into catching Green Tea off guard, they still kind of messed up that fight with Hatred flashing in for the Timber Stun and missing the Super Mega Death Rocket to take down Lucian.
Exactly.
After that, as you said, Hero wasn't able to create that zone defense he needed to do against AHQ Esports Club. But without that zone, AHQ Prize was able to walk into the entire four-man team that was left of IPT and shut them down, or allow the rest of AHQ to regroup and pick them up. I felt like Hatred should have been a little bit more patient with his flash tippers, try and get it onto a few more members, or when Lucien is in an even more dangerous position, because then Lucien was in behind his tanks and also had the ability to flash away from the Super Mega Death Rocker, which would have finished him off.
So at this point of time in this game, I feel like IPT really needs to push for the advantage, because Westo now is slowly but steadily ramping up, has that Abyssal Scepter completed on his end already. So if he hits another major item threshold, like the Lich Bane or even the Zonya's Hourglass, then I feel that it's going to be quite difficult to deal with him. And given the fact that he's going to be in a position where he can one-shot probably the likes of Fear or even Hatred to prevent that flash turbulence initiation, it's going to be quite detrimental if IPT starts the fight off in a 4v5 situation. So we have to see how this game pans out for itself, but they have to be wary of this growing threat that is Westlaw in that phase at this point of time.
IPT and AHQ taking a little bit of a break from the action that took place earlier on. Both teams just waiting for the opportunity. IPT actually waiting for Dragon to respawn. Fear, he knows the time, but he's not a stupid Renekton that doesn't know how to call the make a Baron. Instead, he knows how to zap a Dragon. Yeah, pick that one up. Pink Ward as we place down in this mid lane to get a little bit more vision control around the river area. Brian's is still pushing it onto this turret. Hero's doing the best he can to defend it, and he's doing a good job of doing so, being a Karthus against a Shyvana. His teleport will be up really soon.
Requiem as well. The Red Laser of Death.
Requiem is actually up, so he will be able to contribute to his team no matter what. But Pride is trying to make a flanking maneuver, which is always dangerous.
Yeah, it's a pretty dangerous maneuver, but good thing for IPT that they were able to spot him out before anything happened. And honestly, you know, AHQ, I thought that they really should have wanted to contest for the Dragon. Oh, look out, the man drop!
Hatred and Loud Trouble, Soulfire will hit onto Fear. Fear actually flashes away from that. Hero's going to be the first one to take out. That intervention is going to keep him alive for a lot longer, though. He will get shut down. Price in the back line. Super Mega will miss everyone, though. Requiem will only take down Naz, and Prides will live with a sliver of health. Huge misplays coming out from IPT.
That's the problem with that. They have a lot of damage, but they didn't play it right. They didn't play the team fight right. And finally, we see Ness starting to time the man drop over here. And we'll see a replay of what happened back there. So this is what exactly happened over here. So Hatred there, not going to be able to find this, and the flank coming in from Pride as well. And look out, this hero with the intervention was able to just zone quite a fair bit of people. But Pride himself just jumping on the remaining members of IPT over there, so not quite enough damage to finish off the entire team of AHQ Esports Club.
So we saw that Pride did a good job of keeping the rest of IPT back while both Hero and Light charged into the fray. And by doing that, it allowed the carries on AHQ to live. However, Super Mega Death Rocket missing and not being used early, and also Fear flashing late, he thought that he could avoid the damage coming out from AHQ Esports Club. Instead, he flashed late, took way too much damage, and couldn't contribute more to the fight. If he flashed early, burnt that Summoner Spell, stayed at full health, and away from the Dragon's Descent that was coming from Pride, he would be able to do much more in that fight and potentially hit that Super Mega Death Rocket, which would have changed the fight. Regardless, it was a 3-for-3 trade, so it wasn't too disadvantageous to either team. Actually, it goes in favor of AHQ still because they are behind.
That's right, but I have to say though, I have a lot to look out for, especially for Hero now. He has that death cap completed on his own, and has that blasting one as well, so a lot more damage gonna drop from that Requiem. And for AHQ Esports Club, I guess for them now, they really have to make use of this timing when Requiem is down to force and engage onto IPT, because for them, at least some of them have finished up that major threshold. Westdawn now has that Lich being completed on his own end. And for Ness, he has some defensive stats now. That he has that Banshee's Will. And for Garnet Devil, he has that Phantom Dancer as well as that Bloodthirster. So he will be able to dish out some damage onto the side of IPT. So let's see if they decide to go aggressive from here. But I think that this is one small window of opportunity that they can decide to choose to group up and then go for those objectives.
An interesting change to Rabanga's KO was made recently, and because we are on the live patch, that change is currently implemented.
Yes.
When he uses his heal, that movement speed bonus scales on ability power. He used that on Carthus the previous fight, along with the Divine Intervention, so Hero was running at a crazy speed, despite running into the entire team of AHQ. Ran through the Fizz Ultimate, ran through the Conley, ran through Green Tea, ran through everyone, and just got to the back lines. He just wasn't able to hit enough of his lay weights, and the Requiem just was not enough to take down the remaining members of AHQ, and he took them down fairly low as well. Light, on the other hand, he needs to be a bit more careful. He's jumping in very recklessly. He needs to understand.
Exactly.
He needs to understand that he is not Hero. If he jumps in and dies, that's one member down for IPT. Rabanga might actually want to change his game plan and not use that Divine Intervention onto Hero if he doesn't have to, and instead give it to the Light, who can make use of it.
Oh,
but here's a man draw. He's gonna get Divine Intervention, but he's gonna get locked out for so long. Fear's actually staying alive for a long amount of time. Record's being used. Get a drop down. Fear's actually gonna get taken down. So is Hatred. Westor picks up a kill. Teleport coming in from Carthus Flesh will actually be cancelled. And smart move from him as well. That is the power of Pantheon in this mid game. He can create ganking opportunities out of nowhere.
And once again, the support coming in from Green Tea paramount to that gang. You know, he landed the perfect solar flare to stop Fear right in his tracks, and because of that, Ness was able to come in. Let's take a look at the replay as AHQ Esports is doing Dragon, but Baron, but that's the pause. So Fear taking a whole lot of damage. The intervention going down onto him, but that's not going to matter too much because HQ is just going to be able, and the flanking maneuver from Westar again, that's going to be enough to take out Fear in the process, and Pride's now still ruling it out, being that hasty dragon, and they will secure that 3 kills from there.
We saw there, with that intervention and the heal coming out from KO, along with the lifesteal that Jinx currently has, she was able to heal up to full health after that ultimate was gone. But without the intervention, it's hard for Light to jump into a team like AHQ's, and it's also hard for Hero to stay alive long enough. And AHQ grouped up fantastically well, forced Hero to make a decision to use the teleport, and he used it way too late to join the fight. IPT can't get caught off guard like that if they want to split push with a teleport Carthus. They need to be playing incredibly safe, especially against a Pantheon jungler.
So we'll be back into the game. This looks like HQ should be able to take out the Baron without much challenges at all.
Maybe.
Yes.
Baron's strong, you know, he's a big one.
He's a big guy. It will take a while, but you know, with the damage from HQ Esports Club, it's not going to be too much of a problem. So 29 minutes in, what am I saying? 29 minutes in, we see HQ Esports Club finally grabbing that goal lead away.
Baron called a timeout. He said, guys, this is not fair.
I want to see my lawyer.
I want to see my lawyer. This was not in my contract. People fight over me all the time. They always hit me. Everyone just wants to hit me.
Timeout here. I'm calling my timeout.
I'm calling it a night. I'm not coming back.
It would be lovely to see that happen though. Like Baron actually just suddenly disappearing from the map.
I mean, you used to be able to charge into Baron as Poppy and displace him from his own pit. You could actually charge Baron into your enemy's towers.
And then, you know, the MVP fountain,
MVP
note?
Townsend.
Baron Nashor?
No. Baron's still MVP of every single game.
Oh yeah,
He always will be.
He changes games.
Teams will always go for the Baron Magnet. Baron Magnet is where they will go for a Baron when they shouldn't be going for a Baron, and then they will lose the game just because they decided, hey, let's do Baron today.
Looks like Baron he's kind of like the team's magnet, and rightfully so. He does give that extra buff, extra regen, and then you'll be very strong, getting that extra power spike that you need as well. So, and actually I want to talk a little bit about the game so far. It's a very interesting game and a lot of ups and downs, especially for IPT here, but I guess in that sense they might want to change their focus a little bit, because so far from what I've seen, the way that they approach this team fights is that they are pretty much not taking it slowly, and I think that's what they really need to do, because AHQ Esports Club, they have a lot of upfront damage from Westdorf, from Green Sea, from Pride as well, and I have to give some credits to AHQ Esports Club because they have been pulling flanks time and time again, and because of that they are able to kind of catch IPT off guard. So for IPT, they might need to change their focus just that little bit. Make sure that they have vision from the sides before going in for the fight, because they need to know exactly where Price is, where Westdor is, and then turn their focus onto probably the likes of Westdor and even Guarded Devil first before choosing to commit to the fight. So, what we have this downtime over here. So, what do you think went wrong for HQ in the early game? You know, we didn't really expect IPT to get that control in the early game for the most stages. I thought for the most part they would want to go for this early game stage, this farm stages, kind of extend that laning phase just for a bit, but looks like at this point of time they have this early game advantage, and it's a very interesting maneuver from there. And AHQ Esports Club, they were forced to sit on the back end, but finally getting one good fight off, and then finally grabbing that Baron buff.
Look at that countdown time when it's yellow.
5 minutes pause time remaining.
5 minutes pause time remaining. When this reaches 0, Timo will rule the world. That is scary. I don't want to be under a dictatorship of Timo.
Oh, there we go. Ness is right back into this one. Hopefully we will be back into the game soon. Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully we'll have to see. Apparently there's a little bit of problems with Naz's key bindings. Apparently he can't use any of his abilities. I think he's just pressing the wrong buttons. I mean, QWER, it's not very hard.
Maybe he clicked on 4 instead. It's quite difficult, you know, sometimes when you have fat fingers.
So this is what's gonna happen if I'm not mistaken. What we're gonna see, what's gonna happen here is
we're gonna go for another pause. That's what
we're gonna go for another pause. So this is a bug that has happened before in League of Legends.
Let's listen to it.
We're gonna try something really interesting here in the Green Premier League.
Okay.
Naz is gonna try and suicide. I mean in League of Legends.